The Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport is showing its commitment to transforming all sectors under its control, even in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic and its lingering effects.
Mr. Speaker, the challenges of COVID have engendered within the ministry and its agencies a determination to work with our stakeholders to regroup and re-engineer for a dynamic reopening.
Since the onset of COVID-19, it's estimated that approximately $26 billion has been lost and more than 40,000 creative and sports-related jobs have been affected.
It is clear that the most vulnerable players in the creative and athletic sectors need support, and we have been providing support in a number of ways.
$40 million was approved by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service for a special support package to creative and athletic practitioners who have been adversely affected by the pandemic.
$40 million is in addition to the amounts that will be paid to creative practitioners under the CARE program directly from the Ministry of Finance.
Additionally, the Culture and Entertainment Ministry is taking steps to establish a registry to give support to athletes as they emerge from the pandemic's restrictions. The Athletes Management System and Registry will assist in the development of policy and programs and will help to calculate the contribution of sport to national development.
I appeal to athletes, coaches, and other stakeholders in the sports sector to sign up to the registry. We have already received names and TRN of all the players in the Premier League clubs, thanks to the president of the Premier League Association. He has ensured that that information has been sent to the ministry.
The ministry is also in discussion with the relevant stakeholders for a phased reopening of more entertainment and athletic activities. Despite the cancellation of numerous tours and entertainment events, several creatives were able to successfully utilize online platforms as their new stages.
Our artists rose to the challenge and joined with my ministry, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, as well as the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, in staging a remarkably successful telethon Jamaica titled Together We Stand, that raised approximately $60 million to bolster the country's response to COVID.
The money that was pledged during the online and live broadcasts have been forwarded to the account of the National Health Fund and is being used to procure PPE for frontline workers.
I thank the many who contributed to this most worthy cause. I also express appreciation to the Jamaican and international artists and personalities who participated in the telethon.
In the same way that the ministry was successful in hosting Telethon Jamaica virtually, plans are afoot to revitalize the Jamaica Festival competitions this year.
We want to broaden, rebrand, and refocus Jamaica Festival as a summer of cultural and entertainment activities celebrating the freedom of the Jamaican people and the independence of our nation state.
For the first time in history, both the 2020 Jamaica Gospel Song and Festival Song competitions will be hosted online, and the winners will be selected by public vote.
The songs are on social media, streaming and download platforms. They're on radio and they're on television. We have released the telephone lines for members of the public to vote for their favorites.
For the first time in the Jamaica Festival song history, the top 10 songs are now available for download and/or streaming on international music platforms such as Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and Tidal.
By listing on these music streaming and download platforms, we have taken the competition to the world, creating the opportunity for the participants to maximize their earnings through their creative works. So every time there's streaming or every time there's a download, those participants will be earning. The writer will be earning, the performer will be earning, and the producer will be earning.
The National Independence Church service will also be held virtually this year in a service to be broadcast on air and online on August 2. Emancipation will be celebrated in a special virtual ceremony on July 31, and there will be a virtual edition of Grand Gala on August 6.
Domestic abuse has increased across the world during the COVID-19 lockdown. The stay-at-home measures that countries have had to implement had the unfortunate side effect of having women and our children locked up with their abusers, sometimes without access to family or friends, or an opportunity to call for help.
To alleviate the plight experienced by victims of domestic abuse, the first of 3 national shelters is on track to open in August.
So, one property will be operationalized in August. Another property, I've just taken possession of it. The keys here, Mr. Speaker. And the third property, the title is at the titles office to be transferred to us.
The first shelter will serve mid-island communities, while the other 2 will address the needs of those in the eastern and western regions. In the meantime, the ministry has established numerous partnerships to eliminate gender-based violence in the country. These include the Spotlight Initiative Jamaica program, which was launched in March. As it relates to sexual harassment, a memorandum of understanding has been signed with the University of the West Indies Open Campus to conduct anti-sexual harassment training of managers and workers in the public and private sectors.
Sexual harassment is a very serious matter, which militates against the desired level of peace, harmony, and happiness in our country. I chair the Joint Select Committee of Parliament that is examining the bill entitled An Act to Make Provision for the Prevention of Sexual Harassment and for Connected Matters. We have been receiving submissions from members of the public, and we will take each comment, critique, and suggestion into consideration when compiling the final report by the end of the year.
Through it all, it's evident that the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport remains steadfast in creating pathways for growth and prosperity for all.